Today is the date 3 of Jagadguru Namanam series. So before I invite Guru Bhakta Mani Shri Venkataraman ji, I should say a few words related to yesterday's topic. And this has came from the Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam on his Shri Mukha only. Yesterday we had a session in their Brahmachari took birth, and we came to know the Puja Mata Pita and the surrounding places where he traveled from birthplace to Vijayawada, Machilipattanam, Narsaraopet and all. Then he meet His Holiness Jagadguru Shankaracharya Abhinav Vidyatirtha Mahaswamiji, then took sannyasa, then adored the Peetham as a 36th Shankaracharya. In this situation, I want to say it's in Kannada because Mahasannidhanam told same thing in Kannada language only. ಅಭಿನವ ವಿದ್ಯಾತೀರ್ಥ ಮಹಾಸ್ವಾಮಿಗಳವರು ಜಗದ್ಗುರು ಭಾರತೀ ತೀರ್ಥ ಮಹಾಸ್ವಾಮಿಗಳವರ ಜನ್ಮಭೂಮಿ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾತ್ರೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಾಗ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಚಾರಿಗಳು ಮಹಾಸ್ವಾಮಿಗಳ ದರ್ಶನವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಜಗದ್ಗುರುಗಳ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತನಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿದಾಗ ಜಗದ್ಗುರುಗಳಿಗೆ ಬಹಳ ಸಂತೋಷವಾಗಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾತ್ರೆ ಮುಂದುವರಿಯುತ್ತೆ. ತದನಂತರ ಆ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಚಾರಿಗಳ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಇಚ್ಛೆ ಮೂಡ್ತದೆ, ನಾನು ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಾಧ್ಯಯನವನ್ನು ಕೇವಲ ಶೃಂಗೇರಿ ಜಗದ್ಗುರುಗಳಲ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ, ಬೇರೆ ಯಾರಲ್ಲೂ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಇಚ್ಛೆ ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿಯಾಗಿ ಒಂದು ದಿನ ಅವರು ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಹೇಳದ ಹಾಗೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ಸಾಧುವಿನ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಟ್ರೈನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಜಗದ್ಗುರುಗಳು ಉಜ್ಜಯಿನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಚಾತುರ್ಮಾಸ ಸ್ವೀಕಾರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಉಜ್ಜಯಿನಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ಎನ್ ವಿ ಸರ್ ನಿನ್ನೆ ಇದರೊಳಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದರು. ಆವಾಗ ಅವ್ರು ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದಿರಾ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೇಳದಿದ್ದಾಗ ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂತ. ಆವಾಗ ಆ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಚಾರಿಗಳು ಕೊಡೋ ಉತ್ತರ, ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನು ಅರಿಸಿ ಹೋಗುವವರಿಗೆ ಯಾರ ಅಪ್ಪಣೆಯ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದನ್ನೇ ಅವರು ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ರಿಯಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ನಿನ್ನೆ ಅವ್ರ ಮಾತಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದರು. ಆ ಥರ ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡಿ ಉಜ್ಜಯಿನಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಉಜ್ಜಯಿನಿಗೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಜಗದ್ಗುರು ದರ್ಶನ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಆಗ ಜಗದ್ಗುರುಗಳು, ಓ ನೀ ಅದೇ ಹುಡುಗ ಅಲ್ಲೇನಪ್ಪ, ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದೆ ಆವಾಗ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಹೌದು ಸ್ವಾಮಿ, ಅದೇ ಹುಡುಗ. ಏನು ಬಂದಿದ್ದು? ತಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಾಧ್ಯಯನವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೇನೆ, ಕೃಪೆ ಇಟ್ಟು ನಮಗೆ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಾಧ್ಯಯನವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಬೇಕು. ಆಗ ಏನು ಯೋಚನೆಯೇ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲದ ಹಾಗೆ ಗುರುಗಳು ಶ್ವಪ್ರವೃತ್ತಿ ಆಗಚ್ಚ ತರ್ಕ ಸಂಗ್ರಮ ಪಠಿಷ್ಯಾಮ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೇಬಿಟ್ರಂತ. ಇದು ಸ್ವತಃ ಗುರುಗಳ ಶ್ರೀಮುಖದಿಂದ ಬಂದಿದ್ದು. ಬೇರೆ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ರೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮ ಗುರುಗಳು ಆಯ್ತಪ್ಪ ನಾಳೆಯಿಂದ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡು, ತರ್ಕ ಸಂಗ್ರಹವನ್ನು ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಸರಿ, ನ್ಯಾಯಶಾಸ್ತ್ರದ ಮೊದಲ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ತರ್ಕ ಸಂಗ್ರಹ, ದೀಪಿಕಾ, ಮುಕ್ತಾವಳಿ, ಅದು ಕ್ರಮೇಣ ಯಾತ್ರೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಆಯಿತು. ಕೊನೆಗೆ ಶೃಂಗೇರಿಗೆ ಬಂದ ಮೇಲೆ ಪಂಡಿತರಿಂದ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಾಧ್ಯಯನ ಮಾಡಿಸಿದ್ರಂತೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ದಿನ ಅವರ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಚಾರಿಯನ್ನು ಕರೆದು, ನೋಡಪ್ಪ, ನಾವು ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಈ ಪೀಠದ ಉತ್ತರಾಧಿಕಾರಿ ಶಿಷ್ಯರನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಹಾಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಂಗೆ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಚಾರಿಗಳಿಗೆ ರೋಮಾಂಚನ ಆಗೋಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಯೋಗ್ಯತೆ ಇದೆಯೋ ಇಲ್ಲೋ ನಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಕೇವಲ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಾಧ್ಯಯನವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ನಿವೃತ್ತಿ ಮಾರ್ಗದಲ್ಲಿರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಬಂದೆ, ಮಠಾಧಿಪತ್ಯ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನನ್ನ ತಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಚೂರು ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ನೀನು ಗುರುಗಳ ಮುಖಾರದಿಂದ ಬಂದಿದ್ದು, ನೀವು ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರೋ ಬಿಡ್ತಿರೋ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅಮ್ಮನವರು ನಮಗೆ ಅಪ್ಪಣೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಉತ್ತರಾಧಿಕಾರಿ ಶಿಷ್ಯರನ್ನಾಗಿ ತಗೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ, ನೀವು ಮರುಮಾತಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಒಪ್ಪಿಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತ. ಆ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಸನ್ನಿಧಾನಗಳವರು ಸನ್ಯಾಸ ಸ್ವೀಕಾರ ಮಾಡಿ ಈ ಪೀಠಕ್ಕೆ 37ನೇ ಅಧಿಪತಿಗಳಾಗಿ ಶಂಕರಾಚಾರ್ಯರಾಗಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತ ಪೀಠಾಧಿಪತಿಗಳಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರನ್ನ ಸಲುತ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆಗ ಗುರುಗಳು ಒಂದು ಮಾತು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಂತೆ, ಅಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಈ ದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊಸಬ, ನನಗೆ ಈ ಭಾಷೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸನ್ಯಾಸ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಈ ಪೀಠದ ಕಾರ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ನಡೆಸ್ತೀನೋ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ಅಮ್ಮನವರು ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ನೆರವೇರಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ನೀವು ಮರು ಮಾತಿಲ್ದಂಗೆ ಒಪ್ಪಿಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತ. ಅವತ್ತು ಇಷ್ಟು ವಿಷಯವನ್ನು ಜಗದ್ಗುರುಗಳು ತಮ್ಮ ಪೀಠಾಧಿಪತ್ಯದ 25ನೇ ವರ್ಷದ ಮಹೋತ್ಸವದ ದಿನ ಸಂಜೆಯ ಸಭೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ವಿದ್ಯಾಶಂಕರರ ಆವರಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವತಃ ಗುರುಗಳ ಮುಖಾರವಿಂದ ಬಂದಂತಹ ಮಾತು. ಅದು ನಿನ್ನೆಯ ದಿನ ಅವರ ತಗೊಂಡಂಥ ವಿಷಯಕ್ಕೂ ಇದಕ್ಕೂ ಸಾಮ್ಯತೆ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದರಿಂದ ಇದನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಸಭೆ ಇದನ್ನು ಆಸ್ವಾದಿಸ್ತದೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಹೇಳಿ ಇದನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ಈಗ ನಾವು ಜಗದ್ಗುರು ನಮನದ 3ನೇ ದಿನದ ಅವಧಿಯನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳಬೇಕು ಅಂಥೇಳಿ ಗುರುಭಕ್ತಮಣಿ ಎನ್ ವೆಂಕಟರಾಮನ್ ಅವರನ್ನು ವೇದಿಕೆಗೆ ಕರಿತಾ ಇದೆ.
ಮಾಲಾಸುಧಾ ಕುಂಭ ವಿಬೋಧ ಮುದ್ರಾ ವಿದ್ಯಾವಿರಾಜತ್ ಕರವಾರಿಜಾತಾ ಅಪಾರ ಕಾರುಣ್ಯ ಸುಧಾಂಬುರಾಶಿಂ ಶ್ರೀ ಶಾರದಾಂಬಾಂ ಪ್ರಣತೋಸ್ಮಿ ನಿತ್ಯಂ. ಶಂಕಾರೂಪೇಣ ಮರ್ಚಿತ್ತಂ ಪಂಕೀಕೃತಮಬೋಧ್ಯಯಾ ಕಿಂಕರೀಗಸ್ಸ ಸಾಮಾಯ ಶಂಕರಾಚಾರ್ಯಮಾಶ್ರಯೇ. ಪ್ರಹ್ಲಾದವರದೋ ದೇವೋ ಯೋ ನೃಸಿಂಹಃ ಪರೋ ಹರಿಃ ನೃಸಿಂಹೋಪಾಸಕಂ ನಿತ್ಯಂ ತಂ ನೃಸಿಂಹ ಗುರುಂ ಭಜೆ. ಶ್ರೀ ಸಚ್ಚಿದಾನಂದ ಶಿವಾಭಿನವ್ಯ ನೃಸಿಂಹ ಭಾರತ್ಯಪಿತಾನ್ ಯತೀಂದ್ರಾನ್ ವಿದ್ಯಾನಿತೀನ್ ಮಂತ್ರನಿತೀನ್ ಸದಾತ್ಮನಿಷ್ಠಾನ್ ಭಜೆ ಮಾನವ ಶಂಭುರೂಪಾನ್. ಸದಾತ್ಮಧ್ಯಾನ ನಿರತಂ ವಿಷಯೇಭ್ಯ ಪರಾನ್ಮುಖಂ ನೌಮಿ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರೇಷು ನಿಷ್ಣಾತಂ ಚಂದ್ರಶೇಖರ ಭಾರತೀಂ ವಿವೇಕಿನಂ ಮಹಾಪ್ರಜ್ಞಂ ಧೈರ್ಯೋದಾರಕ್ಷಮಾನಿಧಿಂ ಸದಾಭಿನವಪೂರ್ವಂ ತಂ ವಿದ್ಯಾತೀರ್ಥಗುರುಂ ಭಜೆ. ಭಾರತೀ ಕರುಣಾಪಾತ್ರಂ ಭಾರತೀ ಪದಭೂಷಣಂ ಭಾರತೀ ಪದಮಾರೂಢಂ ಭಾರತೀ ತೀರ್ಥಮಾಶ್ರಯೇ. ವಿದ್ಯಾವಿನಯ ಸಂಪನ್ನಂ ವೀತರಾಗಂ ವಿವೇಕಿನಂ ವಂದೇ ವೇದಾಂತ ತತ್ವಜ್ಞಂ ವಿದುಶೇಖರ ಭಾರತೀ. Offer this day 3 talk on Jagadguru Namanam at the lotus feet of Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam Jagadguru Srimat Abhinava Vidyatita Mahaswamigal, our revered Shri Mahasannidhanam Jagadguru Shri Bharati Tirtha Mahaswamigal, and our revered Sannidhanam Jagadguru Shri Vidushekara Bharati Mahaswamigal. Welcome to Jagadguru Namanam, day 3, and thank Umesh for a very nice Kannada insertion for 5 minutes, beautifully coalescing with the yesterday's talk. We left yesterday the fact on the coronation, the divine coronation, Peetarohanam of Shri Mahasannidhanam. Just we should part 2 more information as a continuity of the second day before we get into the third day. The moment Acharya assumed the Peetam as the 36th Jagadguru, he wanted to fulfill two important tasks as his first priority. Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam, in one of his last letters to Sri Mahasannidhanam, had written and conveyed that this Tunga bridge, Vidyatirtha Setu, which was named later as Vidyatirtha Setu, would be ready by the Magha Masa in 1989. Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam attained Videha Mukti on 21st September 1989. And therefore, Sri Mahasannidhanam thought that should be one of the important things as a priority which we should do. And therefore, Sri Mahasannidhanam completed and inaugurated the Vidyatirtha Setu on 21st May 1990. The second important task and priority was completing the Adhishtanam of his Guru, Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam, Jagadguru Srimad Abhinava Vidyatirtha Mahaswamigal, and performing its Kumbhabhisheka, which Acharya completed it on the 12th May 1993. And we found this is the inscription that was pitched into the Adhishtanam to remain forever. And the English translation of it is, born in the year Pingala, 1970, he became a sannyasi in the year Prajapati, 1931, and the Pitathipati of Shringeri in the year Jaya, 1954. Having attained fame that spread to the end of the quarters, he discarded the body in the year Shukla, 1989. Triumphant is he, Guru Abhinava Vidyatirtha, who ever protects all. An illustrious disciple discharging his divine filial duties to his Guru. And look at what Guru Gita portrays how a Sishya should conduct himself before his Guru. Guru Gita says, worship, you can do a comparison. What is narrated is what Sri Mahasannidhanam did to Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam. And all of us were witness here and all over who are watching this program and who will watch it later, how there is a divine monotony and a repetition in Shringeri Sharada Peetham, how the same has been done, repeated by Sri Sannidhanam to Sri Mahasannidhanam. As we now read line by line, you will confirm, yes, this is exactly what we have been seeing. Worshipping your Guru with utmost devotion. Worshipping the sacred padukas of your Guru. Worshipping their holy seat. Worshipping their like belongings. When Guru walks, Sishya should follow and the shadows should not cross Guru's shadows. Wait for the Guru to sit first. When he comes later, offer the Guru, stand up, offer the Guru his seat and then take your seat. And the book Inspiring Saint adds, during the Vidvat Sadas, Acharya always ensured that whatever he spoke has the approval of his Guru. It is this illustrious disciple who became the 36th Pitathipati of Shringeri Sharada Peetham, Dakshinamnaya Shringeri Sharada Peetham. He was a scholar par excellence in Vedas, Shastras, and Sanskrit. We will now see glimpses of what Acharya has offered as his divine contribution for the propagation, sustenance, and the protection of Sanatana Dharma. See, we jivas can't protect Sanatana Dharma. We can serve Sanatana Dharma. Our limitations are only to that extent. Whereas Guru is Ishvara himself. And only Guru can sustain, nurture, protect Sanatana Dharma. This is the distinction between a Guru serving Sanatana Dharma and a Sishya serving Sanatana Dharma through the directions of his Guru. This distinction, every Sishya at every point of time should bear it in mind. Now, what is the Guru's contribution? Before we go to know the Guru's contribution, it has two preceding steps. When we say Acharya is a Shastra Pandita, how did he achieve it? That's one question, which many will try to know, want to know an answer. And, all right, you are all Sishyas of this Peetam. So, eulogizing your Guru is part of your emotional nature. We do understand all these feelings, but which independent authority or person has said your Acharya is a Pandit Rajaguru? Obvious questions, quite right, no problem. We will now share you the Vidwans who have spoken, what they have spoken about Shri Mahasannidhanam after attending to Vidvat Sadas year after year after year. Now, how did Acharya learn Shastras? See, this guidance, the book captures it so beautifully that this guidance is a guidance for every teacher who teaches even material subjects. More importantly, every student who learns from a teacher. And even more importantly, every young parents who should know to align her child, his child, with a school and a teacher properly, rather than having an overarching or an overbearing impact on the teacher. See, whether you want water from a tap or a tank or a fall from the heaven, it has to flow from a higher altitude and somebody has to hold it. It's as elementary as that. So a teacher-taught relationship is considered so sacred in our dharma. And how did Acharya learn? Vidyaranya Maharaj, while authoring Shankara Digvijayam, has authored how Shankara Bhagavad-Padal learnt from his gurus. And the book says, this is how Shri Mahasannidhanam learnt from his teachers. The first quality of a student should be, when you learn, ensure you learn without any displeasure or inconvenience to your teacher. Essential quality. Today's teacher-taught relationship is at par, same platform. You can put even your leg on somebody. How will you learn? How will learning flow from the teacher to the taught? So, never earn the displeasure of a teacher, whoever the teacher may be, whatever the teacher may be teaching you. Never earn the displeasure. Never inconvenience the teacher. You have to wait, because it's the teacher who conveys you knowledge. If it's inconvenient to the teacher, you should understand it. Leave it there and wait for the time. So, learning ability is something very, very important if you want to learn something with humility. The second quality was grasping. Learn it once and learn it perfectly. You don't learn it the second time. You don't rehearse it the 10th time. You don't hold an iPad to speak. Learn it, grasp it, and register it once and for all. retaining. It's not enough if you learn, if you grasp. Just before we came here, our CEO was narrating an incident, what Sri Mahasannidhanam has conveyed to me 13 years back. He said, today morning, this is what Sri Mahasannidhanam said about you to me. 13 years back, this conversation. I told him this should be easily 13 years back. Retention of every word, every syllable. Who speaks what? The ability to. In fact, Acharya always says, I don't memorize, nor do I retain. Because it's human effort. Jivas have to put those efforts. Ishvara need not have to memorize something. Ishvara need not have to recall something. It will occur. And the fifth limb of learning is self-learning. Beyond the point, a student taught must have the ability to self-learn. So, these 5 ingredients was found in Adi Shankara and therefore found in Sureshwaracharya and therefore found in the lineage of the Savichinna Guru Parampara till today. And hereafter, Vidyaranya Maharaj in Panchadasi prescribes how should one do Brahma Vichara and says, our Acharya, the same will apply also for study of Shastras. It's not different. Can you think about and meditate on Brahman 24/7, 365 days? That's the first option. If not, can you be in the company of a satsanga, which always talks, converses, discusses only about Brahman? Do you have the mind to share your knowledge on Brahman, on Vichara? And do you have the mind to learn from somebody else also if they share something very important? So all these 4 put together, see, this foundation is laid down only to say the method of learning Shastras, method of learning Vedas, method of learning Sanskrit is extremely distinct from what is happening today as modern education. And you'll see the difference. It has sustained. Vedas are still there in this world after several yugas. How does it sustain? It sustains only if it is learned in this way. No compromise. So, it is this learning which finally enabled Acharya to become an authority in Shastras. In fact, Sri Sannidhanam says in his Anugraha Bhashanas, Shastras compete with each other to flow out of Sri Mahasannidhanam's divine lips. They race. I should get out of his divine lips. This is the kind of authority one lays down in understanding Shastras. Now, what is important is this display of knowledge comes under test, even for Acharyas. One, Manikya Shastrigal. This is something which Acharya Sri Sannidhanam has narrated in Vande Lokaguru. It's an episode from there. Suddenly, impromptu raises a question during the Vidvitsatas on Tarka. Pat came the reply spontaneously without even waiting for a second. Manikya Shastrigal prostrates before Acharya and says, I have been raising this doubt in every sadas. Panditas would either avoid the question or would say, we'll have to explore this and find an answer. How did you answer this so effortlessly, so spontaneously, without even having to think for a second? Not heard this answer from anyone else, and prostrates once again. So, it is this Shastric knowledge that one acquires to be a Pitadipati of Dakshinamnaya Shringeri Sharada Pita. There should be an authority in Shastras. Sarva Shastrat Tattvavit. Veda Vedanga Paraga. Yoga Marganu Sandai. These are the three important attributes which we will be discussing in today's talk. Yesterday we completed 4, and today we add 3 more to the 11 attributes of a Mahapurusha. Now, when we say he is a Shastra Pandita, can you explain who has said what about Shishi Mahasannidhanam? It's a very genuine question anybody can raise. This is what Mahavidwan Shri Mani Dravid Shastrigal tells about Shishi Mahasannidhanam. It's an authority on Advaita. In fact, before coming to the speech, I spoke to him and took his consent. He has delivered a talk for the Shringeri Guru Bandhava channel during the 71st Vardhanti of Acharya about the glory of Shishi Mahasannidhanam. So I wanted to refer a few of those things from that speech and wanted his consent because it's a public forum. Can I use it? When I started to speak to him, he said, look here, I remember that I have delivered a talk. I very well remember the speech, but I'm not sure whether I spoke this in that speech and said, every Acharya of Shringeri Sharada Pitam is nothing but an avatara of Adi Shankara. First statement. If I have spoken that, I reiterate it. If I have not spoken in that, please add this also when you convey that these are my views about Shishi Mahasannidhanam. And indeed, the speech does record this fact. I told him, Mama, you have already spoken this. Then please, I reiterate, you can refer it. He told me in the conversation, look here, you must all understand what a Mahapurusha you have been blessed with as a Guru. You can't get this opportunity the second time in which life we don't know. And the talk gives the reasons why we are so blessed. And Sishyas and devotees and Astikas should know the relationship between Shishi Mahasannidhanam and Mahavidwan Mani Dravid Shastrigal is very unique. The respect and the adoration is mutual. In one of the opening programs in the 2012 Vijayatra, he was to read the Sanskrit citation for Acharya to welcome. Somebody introduced him as, now we will ask Mani Dravid Vidwan Shastrigal to speak in Sanskrit and welcome our Acharya. Acharya immediately interfered and said, you are wrong. Please say as Mahavidwan Mani Dravid Shastrigal. That is how you should address him. In open public forum. When Shri Shastrigal came to our village, our mother's village, Melmangalam, and we had a Vidvat Sadas during the 2017 Vijayatra for one day. So I was formally introducing Shastrigal, and Sri Sannidhanam was present and said, narrated this incident and said, therefore we welcome Mahavidwan Mani Dravid. Sri Sannidhanam immediately summoned me, come. You are also committing the same mistake. I said, you should say Mahavidwan Mani Dravid Shastrigal. Don't leave it at Mani Dravid. This is the kind of reverence and adoration the Peetam has over this Vidwan. I don't know how many of you know about it. Recently, Sri Mahasannidhanam has released one of the important texts called full text of Bhashya Bhanu Prabha. It was originally authored by Shri Bhatta Trayambaka Shastri in the 18th and the 19th century, end of the 18th century. And this text has some unique importance. This is one text after Bhagavatpada Shankara has issued the commentary on Brahma Sutras. Several objections were raised subsequently. So, Shri Bhatta Trayambaka Shastri takes up all these objections and gives a counter to each of the objections meticulously. And that is this text, Bhashya Bhanu Prabha. It was partially published in 9th from the Sanskrit College, finally endorsed and validated and verified also by Mahavidwan Mani Dravid Shastrigal. And Shri Nambudri did the rest of the part under the guidance of Shri Mahasannidhanam. So this text finally got published last year. The responsibility of going through the script end to end was given by Shri Mahasannidhanam to Mahavidwan Mani Dravid Shastrigal. And the foreword of Shastrigal offers, while offering the obeisance, records this fact. And what is so unique about this text is Shri Bhatta Trayambaka Shastri has learnt Nyaya Shastra but did not acquire knowledge through a guru on Vedanta. He was in search of a teacher. He was in the middle of a forest. He finally found a sannyasi teaching him every day and made him a master in Vedanta. So the question is, who is this sannyasi? Shri Bhatta Trayambaka Shastri writes in his works, in one of the shlokas, it was none other than Shankara Bhagavatpada who came to that forest and taught him Vedanta himself. So it is Shankara Bhagavatpada who first authored the commentaries of Brahma Sutra. When objections were raised, all these objections were countered, but Trayambaka Shastri, after undergoing tutelage from Shankara Bhagavatpada. So the counter is also prepared under the guidance of Shankara Bhagavatpada, nobody else. It is such a text. See, unless you are a Pandit Rajaguru, will somebody venture to bring this text, which remained very incomplete in 1962. So, Mahavidwan now says, this is what he says and this is what we should know what he says. Why do I say that your Guru is a Mahapurusha and please don't leave him? Be at His divine mercy always. He says, the first point, the first takeaway. In worldly life, all of us will try to use materials, objects, and things for a period of time. The moment we find the use is over, we will discard that object from our life. Whoever it is, it may be persons, it can be objects. Nobody travels forever. And Shastric says, the only exception is a Mahapurusha, a Guru. Once you get a Guru in your life, your Guru travels for eternity till you secure salvation. This, you must hear, it's a 1-hour speech. He puts everything in stages. 2, Shastric says, anyone who undergoes guidance from Mata initially, from Pita subsequently, acquire knowledge on Upanishads. Experience more than knowledge. Experience out of the truths of the Upanishad test. Till such time you see the distinction between Guru and God. This Veda should be extinguished for one to receive the spiritual instructions towards the path of emancipation. 5. Shastric says, there is no distinction between Guru Murti, Dakshinamurti and Sharadambal, and Sri Mahasannidhanam is one such Mahapurusha. After saying all this 5, and goes on. 3 important takeaways thereafter. 1, look here what your Guru can do. You must understand what your Guru can do for you. You may be materially very objective. You may pursue your material life of happiness. You may want to do this, that and all in this world. Your Guru will not shun you down. He will guide you. He will assist you to ensure your dreams to get some extent get fulfilled. He is not a Guru who will stop you from all this. But if he chooses to handhold you and take you in the path of spirituality, the very same mind the very same involvement in the material world will slowly turn yourself into a karma yogi. Shri Mahasannidhanam is capable of doing it to his sishyas. It is such a guru you have obtained in your life. Same person, doing the same thing, but in a different way. This change perceptibly is possible through the guidance of Shri Mahasannidhanam. And the third most important takeaway, which Shastric says is, look here, we will see a cow as a cow, a dog as a dog, a stone as a stone. Shri Mahasannidhanam can see a Brahman in a cow, a Brahman in a dog, and a Brahman in a stone. That is your Guru. Don't leave him. And Shastrigal finally concludes by saying, when it comes to scholars like us, we worship him. Every Pitathipati of Dakshinamna Shringeri Sharda Pitam, and when they adorn the Vidvatsadas, are nothing but Shakshat Adi Shankara. Is something which Shri Mahasannidhanam can shower on us. It is such a Mahapurusha who remains your Guru. And convey all of this in your speech. We have the validation and approval from Shastrigal to say this. Now let's see what Sriram Ganapatigal, all of you know him. He is a powerful speaker besides being a great Vedic Pandit, and also adds humor in his talks. He tells in the same set of series of talks, many people come and tell me, I have visited this country, I have gone to this exquisite location, I have stayed in this place, what an ambience, what an environment, etc., etc., etc. I do listen to all of them very carefully, lend my ears, and finally ask only one question. Look here, could you find a person like Shri Mahasannidhanam in any one of these places? That's my view about, if somebody wants to know who Shri Mahasannidhanam is, this will be my first take. And Shri Ganapatigal also says 2-3 things. Have you ever seen Acharyal, any other Acharyals, sitting in the Vidvatsadas, taking a book for reference finding something for a few minutes, finding some other text, then everything comes. As though Mata Saraswati is reigning it and then she speaks. The authority of exposition without any textual reference on hand, holding it on hand, without this iPad. In fact, I must confess, when I went to take the blessings of Shri Sannidhanam, I did say, everything is only in this iPad. Therefore, place this iPad. Please bless also this iPad so that it works all 7 days properly. See what we have to pray. You're so dependent, extremely dependent. In fact, there is one in public speaking. There are many anecdotes. One of the anecdotes is a speaker. Somebody was called to speak. From scratch, he became a very, very successful person in life in London. Therefore, he was called by a premier university to come and address him. So it was a lifetime opportunity for him. He prepared a very big speech. First kept it in his right pocket, in the pant pocket. Due to stress, he kept verifying the script, kept it in his left pocket. After a while, he thought it may go somewhere else. He kept it in his shirt pocket. And when he reached the stage, he lost it. So when he addressed the gathering, he said, before I came here, 2 people knew my speech, God and myself. Now only God knows my speech. So this is the hand. And above all, a compassionate glance over the Sishyas. And in his talk, he concludes, the Matamnaya Mahasannidhanam, concluding verse of it, authored by Bhagavad-pada Shankara, says, in Krita Yuga or Satya Yuga, the Vishwa Guru was Lord Brahma. In Treta Yuga, the Vishwa Guru was Mahavishnu. In Dwapara Yuga, the Vishwa Guru was Bhagavan Vedavyasa. And in Kali Yuga, the Vishwa Guru is Sakshat Parameshwara. And says, every Pitadipati who sits in this throne is Sakshat myself. So it's reigned by Lord Shiva at every point of time. It's reigned by Mata Saraswati at every point of time. And that's why Shastric says, no distinction between Gurumurti, Dakshinamurti or Mata Sharada. And the comparison, even in terms of the Vigraha between Dakshinamurti and Sharada, all of us would have read it, heard it many times. So, this is how scholars depict about Shri Mahasannidhanam. We can dish out more and more and more as much as we can. All this is only samples for you to finally read the whole text whenever you find the time. In fact, Vidyatirtha Krishnan called me this morning to convey that the kind of efforts they have taken along with ARC team, along with Suresh Chandar, his cousin Dr. Krishnan, in preparing the text. And he said, please do inform whoever wants a copy of Inspiring Saint, they can write to Vidyatirtha Foundations. Within India, they will ensure that they courier it to you properly. There's no problem. That's what he wanted me to convey this to you. So it's my duty. But it's two books should certainly, see, on Chandrasekhar Baj Mahaswami, there are books. On Satyananda Swami, there are books. On our Jivan Mukta, Jagadguru Abhinav Vidyatirtha Mahaswami, we have the multifaceted Jivan Mukta. And on Sheshi Mahasannidhanam, this Inspiring Saint is an authentic version. Now, with this background, let us now know why world calls Sheshi Mahasannidhanam a Pandit Rajaguru. All this is fine. Why that title, Pandit Rajaguru? The reasons are the following. 1. Acharya is in a position to clarify any doubt on Vedas, Shastras, Sanskrit, Vedangas, Mimamsa, Nyaya, Tarka, Vyakarana. Ready to clarify any doubt. Authority on this Vidvat Sadas really intended to be, and how it has been so, and how it shall be so in future. Because their gurus for 130 years have laid out a path. And that is why Acharya is addressed as Pandita Rajaguru. The second reason. So what is the layout of this Vidvat Sadas? Acharya says in his Bhashana, 1. The discussions are not to assert one's superiority over the others. Vidvat Sadas is not for that. 2. It is not to decry or condemn any school of thought. 2. 3. Not to embarrass or offend any Vidwans who assemble there to debate. 4. No one should tease any Vidwan showing their Vidvat. Humility should be the hallmark, the core essence of the Vidvat Sadas. Wanted the Vidvat Sadas always to be educative, constructive, and extremely a healthy discussion. And the last, Vidvat Sadas should continue to pave the way for more and more young scholars to participate. And when it comes to young scholars, Shri Mahasannidhanam goes out of the way to handhold them. And Shri Gurunath Ganapadikal has given a proof of it in this Inspiring Saint book. When he was hesitant to speak, Shri Mahasannidhanam, you will roar like a lion when it comes to Vedas. What is happening to you? Start! And he starts to speak. The kind of encouragement he makes to youngsters. So, these are all the essence to say he is a Pandita Rajaguru. And the book also records 2 important instances. How he is an authority for people like us to understand. If it's going to be Vedanta Vichara, we'll struggle. We may not know the real import of it. So the book is very considerate, it shares two important instances where people like us will understand, oh, this is where our Sri Mahasannidhanam is all about. One is the experience Mahabaleshwara Bhatt had with Sri Mahasannidhanam, and Sri Nagaraja Bhatta was also present during this. All of us know the sloka of our 11th Acharya, Ajnanam Jannavi Tirtham, Vidya Tirtham Vivekinam, Sarvesham Sugadam Tirtham, Bharati Tirtham Ashraye. So, Mahabaleshwara Bhatt, who has been chanting this every day, wrote a literal translation of this sloka and showed it to Sri Mahasannidhanam. So what did he write? He wrote, Ajnanam Jannavi Tirtham. For the ignorant ones, Guru Sri Bharati Tirtha is like the holy river Ganga. Vidya Tirtham Vivekina. For those endowed with discrimination, he is like the river of knowledge. Sarvesham Sukadam Tirtham. For everyone, he is like river of happiness. I seek refuge in. One of the Namavali says, Anukampa Sharit Patege Namaha. Anukampa. Anukampa is compassion, mercy. All that is the normal English translation. So, Acharya could have used the term Daya, Karuna, Kripa. Why did Acharya choose Anukampa? Just to showcase for our understanding the knowledge in Sanskrit and the aptness in which putting a particular word in a particular place. Bhagavad Gita in the 11th chapter does use this expression Anukampa, and there is a commentary. It's not the compassion which all of us receive during darshanam. It is the divine compassion of emancipating a soul, a jiva, into an Ishvara. And a guru does it without motive. A guru does it without expectation. See, compassion, we have to erase this when we go and stand before our guru, because we are so worldly wise that if somebody does something to us, we will always see what he is expecting in reciprocation. It's so inherent in our DNA. It is so difficult, there's a mental block to accept somebody can do something without expectation, without a motive. And there are only two exceptions. At an emotional plank, it is always the mother. The whole world will acknowledge that fact. A mother is selfless. She does everything without motive, without expectation, but that's more on an emotional bondage. A guru does it with no motive and no expectation when he decides to emancipate a jiva and make him his Ishvara. And therefore, instead of Daya, Kripa, Anukam. students who finally qualify after Purna Adhyanam. If they are ready to take this test at Shringeri and pass it out for Shastric scholars or Vedic scholars based on their scholarship, experience and age. This has been created in the lifetime of Acharya. Now come Shri Mahasannidhanam created one more. There is a subtle difference between Shastra Poshaka Sabha and Shastra Sambardhini Sabha, because that is more to conduct Vidvat Sadas, to encourage the concept of conducting Vidvat Sadas. And annual Vidvat Sadas, during Shankara Jayanti, Veda Sadas happens here, and Vidvat Sadas happens in Kalati, year on year. So the contributions to Shastras. Now, the annual Vedic conference. Across India, hundreds and thousands of Pandits assemble, and year on year, destination is chosen, they are invited and they are honored. Now come to Nitya Veda Parayana during Chandramaulishwara Puja. See, all of us hear about 10 to 15 minutes of Vedic chanting after the Abhishekam is over. In the lifetime of Shri Mahasannidhanam, this 15 minutes has slowly intensified, and where has it actually culminated? The book says, Parayanas of the entire Krishna Yajurveda Samhita, Rigveda, along with Pada and Kramapada, and the entire Samaveda have been completed over the decades in the puja. Propagating, nurturing, sustaining, not an easy task. Finally, Patashalas and the ARC. These are the 10 great takeaways as contributions in the lifetime, divine life of Shri Mahasannidhanam. See, it may look slightly data-driven and intense, but in a Saptaham, when we do cover the Shastric aspects of Shri Mahasannidhanam, tell me, how many of you know at least 1/10 of it or 2/10 of what has been narrated here? I honestly have to confess, till I read the whole book and prepared the notes, I did not know, even though coming to Shringeri for 30 years. We are so mundane. We come, we see the darshana, we see the puja, we see whether we will be able to say something, get the blessings and walk away. How does the institution sustain, and how does the institution remain a valuable asset in Sanatana Dharma. And look at the clock of the Pitadipati. A Pitadipati also has only 24 hours. We also have only 24 hours. Remember that. When I cover it tomorrow, the japa part of it, the puja part of it, the dharmic part of it, and the social part of it, it simply baffles. Is God giving a special clock, time clock for Shishi Mahasannidhanam? Does day mean 96 hours for him? No. How is he able to do all this? So, Patashalas is something very, very important. If you see, I'll just read the list of Patashalas. I did not know that these many Palata. We all know our Patashala at Melangal. We knew a few Patashalas here and there. Here is the list. Bangalore, Chennai, Kaladi, Satara, Varanasi, Prayag, Maheshwar near Indore, Siddhapura, Srirangam, Coimbatore, Tirunelveli, Madipadu, Guntur, Nellore, Siddipet, Rajapalayam, Melmangalam, Rangasamudram, Shenkote, Palakkad, Kochi, Kozhikode, Goa, and in Assam. Touch your hearts and tell me how many of you know 1/5 of it. And finally, our prestigious premier institution, the Advaita Research Center. The backbone of preaching, sustaining and propagating our Advaita philosophy. See, when it comes to ARC, we need to understand Shri Bharati Tirtha Veda Shastra Grantamala is a theme which ARC has been spearheading last 25 years since 2001. And 26 rare, invaluable gems of works have been published, including Bhashya Bhanu Prabha. They are texts either not in publication at all or texts which are extremely rare in nature. 2. It is the storehouse of all our manuscripts, all our Shastric text, and whatever publications that needs to be made. It's a center of publication. 3. It is spearheading the works of Adi Shankara Bhagavad Padal in a stupendous way. So, now we can therefore, and finally all of us know popularly the Bhagavad Gita promotion which Shringeri Sharada Peetham does. Anybody who is able to memorize thoroughly without and renders flawlessly the 700 shlokas of Bhagavad Gita gets a cash reward of 21,000 rupees. And we understand that so far 3,000 such people have been recipients. 3,000 people have succeeded. Not a small number. It's not a small number. Don't mistake for this part of the talk being slightly statistics oriented. I'll make it up in the next half an hour with episodes, don't worry. But we should know these things. So, we covered Shastra, so he's a Vedanga Sandai. Now we will come to the next important, I left out 3 people and I think I should refer to them also. Because the way they have learnt Shastras, Naveen Holla has something to say about Shishi Mahasannidhanam, a great Pandita. In fact, when he comes to I don't know, he has stopped coming, I think. When he used to attend Vidvat Sadas, Acharya will say, oh, he has come, so he'll take care of Tarka. I'm relieved now. This is and the entire teaching was done by Shishi Mahasannidhanam to him during the 1995 camp. It will be Kashmir to Kanyakumari, 1.5 years. Not a day was missed. And Sri Naveen Holla therefore records, there are 2 aspects. Every scholar who comes into contact Shishi Mahasannidhanam will certainly know that he is Brahmagyani. But what they may not know is how helpful a teacher he is. Not all scholars will know it. Only scholars who have learnt under him knows it. How do you say he's such a helpful teacher? If you are genuine, and if you have a genuine doubt whether it is correct or absurd or irrelevant, you can ask. And with so much patience, with so much care, and in great detail, Shri Mahasannidhanam used to clarify those doubts. Personal recording of Shri Naveen Holla. How Mahasannidhanam teaches and says, the style of Acharya is so unique. 5 students will be listening to him. Simultaneously, he will be able to teach all the 5 according to their abilities. That is Shri Mahasannidhanam. If the pick is more for one man, he will receive that. If the pick is slightly less for the other student, he will also be receiving the lessons in the same class. This is the uniqueness of Shri Mahasannidhanam in his teaching style. And Shri Sannidhanam has recorded it. In 2011, they started Tarka. In 7 months, most of the portion was completed to Shri Sannidhanam. And in the 13 months travel in 2012, not a day was missed. In fact, Nagaraja Bhatta says in his interview, every scholar used to come and tell me, is Shri Mahasannidhanam doing only Shastric research or he is also a Pitadipati? Because we are unable to fathom that how this is possible in one human life, with so many other priorities to attend to. And Shri Krishnamurtigal, the personal attendant of Shri Mahasannidhanam, says, look here, it's like nature. So many things has to happen. And we'll all be wondering how this will all happen. Finally, everything will happen in an orderly way. And this has been the life of Shri Mahasannidhanam. Style. Now we come to the last section, yoga. The yogic power of Shri Mahasannidhanam. What do you mean by the yogic power? Shri Sannidhanam explains it in the talk, the 15th talk of Vande Lokagurum. What does the yogic power mean? It can transcend time. It can transcend space. It can transcend objects. And it can reach any Sishya, anybody, material, immaterial, cross elements, any part of the universe which needs help and guidance will get that help and guidance. That is yogic power. You can be in any part of the world. If you're sincere in your prayers will reach the lotus feet of Acharya. And your prayers do get addressed in any part of the world, wherever you may be. Faith. This is a matter of faith. And Shri Sannidhanam cites his own experience as a brahmachari in that talk. For one of the Somavara pujas, it's going to start at 12 or 12:30. An hour before, Shri Sannidhanam was lying ill in the bed, feeling so bad that he is not in a position to go and attend the puja today. His tapam was so intense, he felt before him Mahasannidhanam doing the Chandramauliswara puja, turning around and looking at Shri Sannidhanam as a brahmachari, glancing and giving a gracious look. And he heard, wake up and get ready and come to the puja. You are all right. And Shri Sannidhanam says in his own words, next minute I was as fit as a fiddle and I went and reached the puja on time. Several such instances now needs to be referred. We'll refer at least a few, 5 or 6, next 20 minutes we have. A Sishya who had a large family and could not afford frequent trips to Shringeri, so pious and so dedicated and so simple, was working in a factory as a factory head, managing 16 factories at a time around the locations, 16 large factories around the time. He was the head of all the 16. He couldn't afford many trips to Shringeri, and he had to reach office at 7 o'clock in the morning. So he couldn't do big anushtanams and all. So he used to reach his office at 7 a.m. in the morning because the factory starts at 7:30. 7 to 7:20, he will offer prayers to Shri Mahasannidhanam with utmost devotion. Shri Mahasannidhanam in several of his Anugraha Bhashanas has said, people come and tell me, I do 10,000 jabams, I do 1 lakh jabams. I always wonder, where was your mind during that period? If you can hold your mind for 10 long minutes without interruption, I will be very satisfied. You have done a good puja. 10 minutes is enough. But 10 focused minutes. Do that puja, I'll be happy. Says Mahasannidhanam in several of his Anugraha Bhashanas. So 20 minutes of such prayer. So the morning shift works between 7:30 p.m. and 11:30 p.m. 4 hours. And there is a lunch break. So the siren goes off at 11:30 every day. As he was in one of the factories, on that particular day, the siren went off at 11:20. Nobody knew why. It's a puzzle. 10 minutes ahead, the siren blew off. And people started to move out of their locations to the canteen. And this Shishya walked back to his office. At 11:35, there is a cylinder blast and one of the factories gets blown. Had the siren gone off at 11:30, exactly the same time, what would have happened to those workers in that factory shed? And the daughter who conveyed this episode to us, as we were writing, as I said, we were writing in 2019, about 130 episodes every day, 1 episode a day. So the daughter conveyed, it is still a puzzle to the family who blew the siren on whose instructions 10 minutes before. Yogic power. Sincere devotion for years. Saying everything is yours, you will only run this. It's a huge responsibility. As a human being, I cannot do it. You will alone run it, and he has run it for him. Now come to the second episode. A devotee in Chennai gets an early morning dream. இந்த குழந்தைக்கு அன்னப்பிரசாதம் கொடு, நான் ஆசீர்வாதம் பண்ணுறேன். Give annaprasada to a child, it has my blessings. So the man, he's in the darshana queue, it's a dream, and he turns back and shows the child. This is the child, he turns back, it is his neighbor's second child. And that neighbor's mother is staying with them, the neighbor is in Switzerland. How do you courier annaprasada to the child? And this all happened some 25 years back. You didn't have mobile and all. which was prepared for this Saptaham. These are all episodes which we have shared it in 2019, 5 years ago, not knowing that there's going to be a Saptaham in 2024. So she sits in the car and starts to meditate on Shri Guru Pagyamam continuously. There is a fear. You have to travel 6 hours alone in a car in an unknown country to reach an unknown destination. 15 minutes later, she gets a call in her Egypt number. I am Geetanjali. Are you so and so, so and so? I am also attending the same conference. I am waiting in this bus stand. Can you kindly pick me up? So the first question, after all, she's a vice president. So the kind of smartness she should carry to do her job, she asked, who are you? How do you know my Egypt number? She drops. These are all the persons who have traveled with you. These are all your colleagues. One of them shared it to me. Can you pick me up in this bus stand? So she drives 15 minutes back, picks Geetanjali, who speaks fluent Egyptian language, travels for 6 hours, reaches the location. Both of them get out of the vehicle and says, fine, you will go and stay in your room. I'll have a room here. I'll go and stay myself. And the devotee telephoned while speaking to me over phone said, sir, I didn't see that Geetanjali after that in that venue. Yogic power. I'll give you one more. During the evening darshanam, 2 decades ago, a lady came rushing, thinking she may miss the darshan of Shri Mahasannidhanam. Rushing. She was gasping for breath. She was feeling so tired and she was so jaded. She was standing in the darshanam queue. Achal summoned her. Did you eat? No. My sister has been diagnosed of a chronic illness and she can die any time. And she got paralysis. I'm rushing. Did you meet your sister? No, I'm coming directly to Sringeri. I want your prasadam. I'm taking this to my sister. I will give you prasadam. First go and eat, as you have been starving for too long. Calls the mutt staff, provide her food, give enough buttermilk with jeera so that she comes to a normal condition. So buttermilk with jeera has a medicinal property to bring us to normal condition. So this is a medical tip in the process. So she joins back the darshanam and he hears what the problem is and said, don't worry. Gives a kumkumam packet. Take it to your sister and you apply it. Shemamar pani kavalapadada. Lady travels to Madurai from Sringeri. Applies the kumkumam. She stays as an attendant in the hospital along with her. Next day she goes and she bathes. Somebody is knocking the door. She is baffled. There are only 2 people in the room, me and my sister. And my sister is running a paralytic attack. Who could knock at this door? She opens up and amazed to see her sister standing and said, I'm waiting for you, I have to go and take bath. Yogic power. We'll give you 3 more instances and with that we wind up. The 5th one is, here was a devotee from Tirunelveli whose dedication to Acharya, very rare parallel you can find. And his wife who spoke to us when we wrote these episodes, very old person. She said, Mama, in his whole life, he has prayed for himself only once when he took his daughter's horoscope to say, My daughters should get well settled in some places. That was the only prayer he made for himself. Otherwise, he has visited Sringeri as a spiritual destination always. This person dies in 2009. And one of the mutt staff informed Shri Mahasannidhanam that the person has died. Acharya says, he has attained Shiva Shayujya Padavipa. This is conveyed to the wife. She doesn't believe. Maybe looking at my plight, Acharya wants to console me. Few months later, lady's younger sister's second son comes to Sringeri. Conveys this news to Acharya. I knew it. Somebody has already informed. He has attained Shiva Shayujya Padavi. Lady doesn't still believe. 1.5 years go by. She goes to the Tirunelveli mutt and starts weeping, looking at the picture of Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam, recollecting what all happened in their lives together. And she told us, this is part of the episode recording, on one occasion, Shri Mahasannidhanam, while giving the mantra akshatai, looked at the face of my husband for a minute or two and said from the Panduranga Ashtakam a specific line and blessed him. Bhaje Pandurangam. Ends up the refrain. So she was thinking all of this in front of the picture of Jyeshta Mahasannidhanam. One of the Tirunelveli devotee comes to the shrine and said, I was in Sringeri some time back and I informed that such a noble soul who has done a lot for all of us is no more. And Acharya told me he has attained Shiva Shayujya Padavi. The lady says, when I heard that third time, how compassionate the extent of devotion my husband had and the extent of disconnect I have in not trusting. He has still not left me alone. What is a fact? He ensured that fact enters into my mind and I believe it finally. And how does Acharya know that the person has reached Shiva Shayujya Padavi? Yogic power. Two instances, the speaker was a witness to the incident and therefore it is not written, it is a witness. We were part of it. And therefore we will narrate these two instances and then we close today's talk. One was the magical Kashmir Yatra to Tithwal. The divine yogic power of Shri Mahasannidhanam was felt from the start to the end. Nothing could have happened, but everything happened. It's 0 to 100. It's not 20, 30, 40, 50, some human participation, no. See, the Kumbhabhishekam happened on 5th June 2023. And we were informed on, we have said this, we have written this, but doesn't matter, in a Saptaham, this should be part of it. Doesn't matter, it's being repeated one more time. 9 days before, we are informed that Kumbhabhishekam is going to be performed in Tithwal. We immediately gave our reply, this is humanly not possible, please inform Acharya, he has to give some other date. Within an hour, the reply comes back. Who are you to decide? Mata Sharda has decided this to be performed on 5th June. You have no role to interfere with. If you have a duty assigned, you go and do the duty, it will happen. Imagine reaching the LOC border. Tithwal is exactly on one side of Kishan Ganga, which is part of within this side of LOC, which is the last post of India, of Bharat. On the other side of Kishan Ganga is POK. You can see POK from there. What intercepts is the flow of river Kishan Ganga, one side and the other bank. You have to reach within 9 days and perform a temple Kumbhabhishekam. And who is coming? Shri Sannidhanam is coming. And the kind of government apparatus you need for that to happen there, with utmost respect and thankfulness, starting from the Honorable Prime Minister, everybody interfered and ensured that this happens. The Home Minister, the Finance Minister, the Defence Minister, the Civil Aviation Minister, and the Governor of Jammu and Kashmir. Those 3 days, he monitored the whole activity minute by minute. The kind of support, the infrastructure, you just can't create an infrastructure of that stature. Not possible. You land in a place, you get a place to stay. You need to go by an helicopter, you get an helicopter to take you there. You need to do a program within that time, it happens. We don't know who will attend. 350 people, 500 people are before us. Especially erected Shamina. We don't know how many will come. 500 people reach the destination on that day. The kind of reverence and respect shown by the Defence Ministry and Defence Minister officials, the military and the paramilitary forces, and the top bureaucrats, top judiciary of Jammu and Kashmir, they were stunned at the Anushtanam and the routine of Shri Sannidhanam. Stunned. Somebody who will lie on a floor is something which they couldn't conceive. We said we need 3 rooms every time, one for Acharyal, one for Chandramoulishwara, and one for the rest. And the room should not have a mirror, the room should not have a cot, the room should not have a wash basin. Everything was realigned. And Chandramoulishwara for puja was performed in public all the 3 days. Huge gathering. Young wives of those defense officers with young babies. We feel so assured that Parameshwara has come and blessed us. We feel so assured about our lives. Magic. It's simply not. Any amount of planning, you will fail somewhere. It's divine management, start to finish. And when you all came back and left from Sringeri, Shri Sannidhanam said, this all happened because of the anugraha of Shri Mahasannidhanam. All of you should remember it only that way. And the last incident is one more magical yogic power of Shri Mahasannidhanam in ensuring our Kshetram of Rameshwaram continues to have only the Spatika Linga of this Samasthanam, which has been there from the days of Bhagavad Shankara. I don't know how many of you know, there is a special puja in Rameshwaram at the Ramanath Swami's shrine early in the morning at 5:15 for a Spatika Linga. That's a special puja, that's a special ticket for that. And thousands of North Indians would flock to watch that puja. It is so precious. And the puja is performed to a Spatika Linga which belongs and given by Dakshinamnaya Sringeri Sharada Peetham for ages, from the days of Bhagavad Pada. So a puja which remains uninterrupted. We get the news that the Spatika Lingam is broken. So the puja should not get interrupted. Information reaches at 8 o'clock the Sringeri Mutt. Shri Mahasannidhanam gives his personal Spatika Linga, the puja which he offered during Navaratri. Krishnamurtikal, Sitaraman and Niranjan gets into an Innova car at 12 o'clock. reaches Rameshwaram the next day at 6:30. Between morning 6:30 and evening 6:30, there was uncertainty because it required several approvals. And we should not miss one day's puja. It has not happened. So it should go without any interruption. The kind of events that unfurled from morning 6:30 to evening 6:30, as 12 hours, we were all witnesses to it. It's a 180-degree turn of magic. And at 6:30, the government issues us the valid document because it's a government record. Everything that gets into has to be on a proper record. The government issues us the valid record. Government authorities come and invite us, receive us. A puja is performed at the shrine, Sanctum Sanctorum of Ramanatha Swami. And the deity enters the Sanctum Sanctorum at 9:30 that night on a pradoshaka, after doing a pradosha puja. And the next day morning, 5:15, puja resumes without a break. The divine connect between Shringeri and its Kshetram Rameshwaram is inseparable. We may be separated by distances, but not by divinity. Ramanatha Swami ensured that the Spatika Linga reaches on time. And the permutations that followed the 12 hours the next day, sheer yogic power of Shri Mahasannidhanam. What we need to carry home is selfless tapas, satya and dharma, and when there is a need, whether it meets an individual sishya or a public cause, without motive, without expectation, divinity will reach and flow there if we have faith in that divinity. See, the 6 or 7 instances narrated in this half an hour, all of you put the same question. Has it not transcended time? Has it not transcended space? Has it not transcended objects? And that is why our acharyas are called Yorga Marga Anusandhayi. They are yogis, one of the 11 rich attributes of a Mahapurusha. It is with this we come to the closure of day 3. Tomorrow we will have 2 parts. The first part will demonstrate the dharmic and social contributions and the anushtanas and routines of Shri Mahasannidhanam, an acharya of this Peetam. How do they run their day? And the second part will be a condensation of the 15 talks of Anugraha Bhashanams given in Sudharma in 2012 by Shri Mahasannidhanam on Vedanta. We have picked up about 10 to 12 questions of it for young minds who may be asking certain questions which Acharya has asked. After referring to Brahma Sutra, referring to Bhagavad Gita, after referring to Upanishads, how Shri Mahasannidhanam, these 15 talks was delivered for people like us and not for Panditas. What are the qualities of a Sishya? What are the qualities of a Guru? Is Jiva and Ishvara one and the same? If questions like this have been asked and Brahma Sutra gives you answer, you say Brahman alone is truth. So rest is all untruth. So what is the status of Vedas, which impart that knowledge on Brahman? Can illusion teach truth? Questions have been asked and answers have been provided. So we will cover these 2 important aspects tomorrow, day 4. Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmat Acharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parampara. Thank you so much, please.